Welcome back to the Aprés Business Podcast. My name is Becca Babbitts and I'm your host. So, this is part two of my conversation with Robin Hall, co founder and CEO of Town Hall Outdoor Co. In this episode, I ask her how she thinks about sustainability when it doesn't always align with durability, like when to use recycled materials versus when to choose something that's not recycled but will last a lot longer. We also talk about how they've built their small but mighty team, how she defines leadership now that she's a few years into running this business, and what it looks like to bring a community into product development, like literally sitting at a park with a bunch of kids with lemonade and trail mix and asking them about what makes a great jacket. Robin shares what's coming next, including their first women's piece and what she's learned about herself since becoming a founder. If you're into mission-driven brands, small teams doing big things, or maybe you just want to feel good about the next jacket that you buy your kid, this one's for you. I know you'll be inspired. Let's jump right in. Tell me a little bit more about some of those, if you're open to telling me more about some of those
Yeah.
um, behind the scenes conversations that you have with your husband and your business owner. Like, the stakes are high right now and this thing's got to work. And here's the things that have to work. And how do you kind of, do you do like a quarterly review, a yearly review, a weekly review? Um, just to make sure that you guys are growing this thing and, you're all in. So how do you keep this going? How do you keep the lights on?
Yeah, well, transparently, so my husband he is a saint. I adore him. We've been together since high school. We grew up together. And so he's been all in on this and he helped us kind of think through how this could shape up, but maybe TMI, but behind the scenes, to your point, like very early on, I'm like, oh honey, I don't think we can do this together. I like no offense, but I can't I can't sit next to you at a desk all day and have you judging me and me judging you and have you done this, have you done that? And so he was a little hurt at first, but now he's like, oh thank goodness. No, I love being an advisor. So I we work on different floors of the house when I'm working from home, and I call him up like everything from can you come look at this sticker design to geez, what should look at this financials and how do we analyze this? And so he's a backbone for me and a huge key advisor. So that's been really neat. But I mean, to your point, the interpersonal dynamics around family, and the one thing I will say also about our family is the boys, now they're 17 and 13, to have them growing up watching the trials and tribulations of a mom, of a family member struggling and thriving and inspired, and the highs and lows. I mean, at the dinner table, we talk about the P&L and we talk about colorway choices and we talk about, they're like, what's a tariff? And so here we go. And so the learnings and the joy I'm getting from them watching. And now, of course, my 17-year-old wants to be an entrepreneur, and in college, he wants to study that. So that's been interesting. But on the other front, certainly I'm so thankful. I'm such a collaborator. I'm so thankful for Joe and Jay because they call me out. They're like, this isn't a good, we need to be thinking about this differently. And it hurts when they say that, but man, oh man, I couldn't do this without them. So it's very collaborative. No surprises, all communication all the time. Very deliberate on, what we're getting ourselves into and what the long-term impacts are going to be. So yeah, it's good. It's a test of wills, and Joe, Jay, and I are family friends and great and even better business partners, I'd say, because I we couldn't do this without Jay's savvy around supply chain and product, and Joe's savvy around. Joe's kind of adjacent to the outdoor industry, so he looks at that Jay and I and says, "Why are we doing it that way? Shouldn't we just do this?" And it's like, "Oh man, yeah, why? It's because the industry does this. Let's try it that way." So it's been really neat to think creatively about how to move forward.
Yeah. And gosh, I had so many questions. I love what you said about your son, your two sons, and
Mm.
them looking up to mommy and seeing all the challenges you go through. I'm curious, as like one mom from another, is there a way that you feel being a mom has helped shape this business? I mean, you are marketing to kids, you are marketing other moms, but I mean even
Mhm.
more so in like how being a mom has helped shape your leadership style?
Wow, cool question. I think I have a lot of empathy. I give myself a lot of grace. I'm about to fe I'm about to be 48, and like, I always say I could have never started this business. I never would have been ready 5 years ago, and 5 years from now I'd be too tired. So I'm in my sweet spot, and I don't know where women have evolved now in their 40s. I don't know how other women are feeling about this, but I'm just like, wow, I'm pretty comfortable in my skin now, and I'm confident with what I'm doing. I can make sound decisions. I can not feel bad or guilty. I'm really kind of one foot in front of the other. And so I think mentally I'm in a great space. And I think motherhood has certainly shaped that. I mean, what we have to go through as moms now to teenagers and watching them make mistakes. I have a lot more I'm okay with mistakes, and learn from them. And I actually prefer mistakes. Like, well, that didn't work. Good. What do we got from that? Let's go on to the next thing. So, yeah, I think a lot more empathy, a lot more. I have no qualms hand holding, and I certainly, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I kind of share everything, much maybe much my own demise, but I've learned a lot of that through momming, and it's been really cool. And I think for good or authenticity is such a tough word these days because everyone uses it. But I think the way I handle myself is truly just here's what you get. And I'm going to tell you it's scary. I'm going to tell you it's hard, but boy, is it amazing. And that gives me a lot more presence to feel joy and also get help. Like, holy cow, being a mom, we all thrive off of each other. And I'm finding that in the outdoor industry. When I find other founders in our same zone, or even one step ahead, or even 50 steps ahead, Missy Park from Title IX is like, I love what you're doing, and just to feel that and to be open and sharing with people about how we can help. And hey, have you thought about this with tariffs? And hey, what's going on here? All that is just really making this a special, special adventure for us.
I love that. And that was like one of my other questions was just like
Mhm.
you were talking about how you lean on the three co-founders a lot and you all bring different skill sets to the table. And I know that just with all the experience that you have in the outdoor industry, you have a lot of connections that you guys have a big community where you're even in Steamboat and then beyond
Mhm.
Steamboat. And it's really amazing. So it sounds like, nobody's gatekeeping anything. And what's some advice for maybe somebody who's earlier on than you? Like how do they get into this inner circle?
Yeah. You have got to be open. You've got to. Networking is such a goofy word because it so just harkens to just you go to a leadership meeting at the coffee shop and you shake hands and there's speed dating or whatever it is. And it's like, just find your people. You've got to find your people. And everyone during COVID, we started March of 2020, which brilliant. Um, and I just found like people in our community of Steamboat Springs, there's what, 14,000 people in this town. They have the most amazing skill sets. And it's not all super, like I've got an accountant and like CFO for some gnarly tech firm down the road. I'm like, hey, can we just go for a walk? And we're 6 feet apart, drinking our coffee, walking our dogs around our circle. And I just asked him a million questions. And, as a little insider thing, not why I do it, but it certainly makes them feel special. So if you ask, a tip for the listeners, like if you're new and starting this up, ask someone to coffee and just ask them questions. You don't even know what you're going to ask yet. It's fine. Just pay attention, be present, and learn about their stories because I guarantee you can learn something from them. And then they will connect you with someone else and it'll happen real quick. So, yeah, I think a lot of 6 foot apart hikes during COVID with just all members of the community, everyone from economic development people to other entrepreneurs to, folks that have been, maybe it's not in a beauty industry, not even the outdoor industry. Like, tell me more about what you do, why you do it, how have you thought of that, how do you reach consumers? No question is a dumb one when you're starting a business, so you just have to ask and not be afraid.
I love that. Okay, so I have another really fun question. What's something
Yeah.
you had to unlearn about starting an outdoor brand? One myth that you were like going into this and then you just were like, nope, I've got to unlearn that because that is not actually reality. If
I think maybe it wasn't an unlearn, it was a holy cow. Not being a part of a big team. I'm a team sport gal. Not being a part of a I just went out with a gal pal last night. She's talking all about like her corporate business and my boss and this team. And I was talking to so and so, and I'm like, wow, I had to unlearn how to have a team of resources and how to have a have somewhere to be Monday morning at 8:01 with my coffee, filling up in the corporate kitchen and going around to people's desks and solving problems. I had to unlearn I had to learn how to be reliant on myself and my skills and feel good about what I was spending the day. And I mean, it's March 30th of 2020, and I've got two young kids running around behind me in the house. And my husband's like, "What'd you do today?" I'm like, "I don't know. I think I just read articles and listened to podcasts about starting a business. Like, did I get anything done?" But I think that's a journey I had to be on. So, yeah, really unlearning how to have common resources, common and be resilient and learn to thrive in that new space. That was a first 6 months like, whoa, I don't have my people. I don't have people to do and advise for me. I've got to figure out how to find those people in my new normal.
is there something in some of those conversations that you had with people that no one warned you about before you got on this journey? You're like,
I don't think I realized, I don't think I don't, when I thought through, I'm like, this is just, I know I'm a project manager at my core. Like, that's what I thrive at. So I'm like, this is a project, right? And it's all big one kind of critical path chart where I'm like, well, if when I do A, then I move on to B, then I move on to C. And it's like, no, you have A through J juggling at every moment. And then you get an email about Z, and then you got to do this. And so I think where I've struggled in the pendulum swing, sometimes I am totally, I'll be like 3 months, I'm on my toes. I'm like, yes, I am crushing. When I'm on my heels, it's real hard. And I've been on my heels for the last 3 months analyzing this stuff and financials and strategy and tariffs and everything. And I didn't know that that's how it was going to be, is how many balls in the air with a small team and the impact of the decisions you make. Because you're the only one. And I remember, I'll never forget, it was the first like 2 years, and I developed this whole marketing plan. It was like a 3-year marketing strategy. I was so proud of myself because I'm not a marketing guru. And I had talked to all these advisors and I made the whole thing, and I finished it. I'm like, wow, okay, wait, who do I send it to? There's no one, this wasn't a deliverable for anyone. It was for me to run the business. It wasn't like, I'm not waiting for a pat on the back. I'm not waiting for my promotion. This is just for, okay, well, good. Now at least I have a marketing strategy. So it's a different vibe running your own thing.
you got A, B, and C, and then Z emails, and you're like, "Wow." Like everything
Uh-huh.
just like, yeah. All right.
Yep.
Well, now we're working on Z. Yeah,
Totally.
totally resonates with me. It's so yeah, 5 years in, is there anything that's like two questions here? Like, is there anything that's flopped where you're like, oh, nope, that was a bad idea? And then anything that like surprised you that worked really well so far?
Yeah. One thing back to our community roots, and also not having deep pockets. I think we were fully aware. Well, our journey around kind of getting into retail was, we thought from the very beginning, we're going to be direct to consumer all the way. We're going to sell through our website. This is going to be amazing. We're going to own the warm hug with our community and our customers. We're going to give them our dialogue straight from our mouth. And then we'll own the margin about how we spend the marketing dollars. And we quickly realized that without deep marketing pockets, we're going to be a grain of sand in the world of the internet. So, wow, and all that to say, with community at our core, we're like, well, who does community really well is these awesome, juicy specialty retailers. We're like a ski house and steamboat. You can walk in and they will tell you the best hiking shoe to buy, what trail to hike, where to get coffee after, and they'll probably meet you for the coffee too. I mean, those are the people that were like, oh,
It
they
smells
build
good.
community. It just feels so good. And
It
that's
smells
town
good too.
hall.
It's like
Yes,
I can smell like a local boutique store right now in Steamboat and I just want to like have
Yes.
that as perfume, right? Like
Oh,
it just,
totally.
yeah, yeah.
Totally. And the people are so beautiful. We're like, well, geez, what if we partner with some of them to help tell our story? So I did what every good entrepreneur does is loaded up my car with all our gear we had on hand. 3 weeks, drove around the state of Colorado, visited 74 stores, and got 5 purchase orders. And so yeah, I think back to your question of what have we learned, what we do differently, that type of thing. I think you know preparing for that diversification of our distribution channels beforehand. Being we heard a lot of advice from folks that told us, but we didn't necessarily heed that advice. So when you're going to prepare for distribution in multiple channels, you actually need to think about your pricing strategy a little bit differently too. Because if you're just D2C, certainly pricing is going to be a lot different than if you're selling at wholesale as well. So selling to wholesale as well. So that was one aha. And then a nod to our community. Like last year, we did 84 days of events around the West. So we were on the road handing out stickers and high fives. And that looks like me at a farmer's market saying, "Hey, kiddo, you want a free sticker?" And then the mom comes in, and then I share the story, and then we get their email address. And hopefully, we're off to the races. We get them as a customer. That also looks like the Vail Kids Adventure Games. That looks like Warren Miller shows. We partner with Warren Miller and they give away a jacket at every national tour stop on Warren Miller, and we have a big ad on the screen. So we're getting a lot of great visibility all through this like great community building, but 84 days out of the office for events is a lot to muscle. So I think we learned how do we manage our time a little bit better and go deeper on the events that make more sense for us. But it's hard. It's hard because that's our core as community. So I guess the third and last thing I would say about learnings is taking smart risks. I am very risk averse, especially with financially. I'm like, what can I control? What can we control with the money? I don't want to just spend $500 on a Google ad if I don't know the best way to do that. I'm not the expert in placing, digital ads. So therefore, I don't have the money to hire someone. I'm not going to hire someone. We're not going to. I think and now we're to the point where we're going to start taking those risks of let's find the right person to place the Google ad for us. We're going to find the $5,000 to invest because man, what we could do if we were a 1-2 punch and showed up at, the Vail Kids Adventure Games and then served up ads to all the folks around that before and after. So I think there's a lot of digital work that we have been putting aside. I have been putting aside because it's daunting and I feel like I'm not an expert and I'm nervous about spending deep pocket dollars on that. I need to be doing that. And we're pivoting and doing that now. So,
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because you said like originally you want to start as direct consumer, right? So like anyone
right.
I was like, well then like what, you're gonna spend like 500,000 on Facebook ads to start? Like
Totally. And we were
uh
thinking, yeah,
you're
yeah,
like, well, if we open up a Shopify store, then people will just somehow hear of us, right?
totally. And we did great. I mean, year one, like every kid in Steamboat's wearing Town Hall. We're like, that's great. Okay, now what? Now we need to get to every kid in Park City and every kid in Crested Butte and Vail and Tahoe and so yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's I don't know if you listened to the Chris McElroy podcast. He's
Mm.
founder of Knox, right? So there's amazing binoculars. And I thought his approach for direct to consumer and retail was just super smart. And he's got sales teams and he's got an REI. And the more brands that I really talk to is like, even like, oh my gosh, even in my first podcast, I had the marketing director from Body Glove, right? And Body Gloves in
Mm.
Costco, right? Body Gloves in Costco. And you're like, does that hurt your brand because you're in Costco? And it's like, no, we see that as brand awareness. You know how many people go
Yep,
into a Costco a day? Is like, then they actually see your product, they see your name. That's like a Facebook ad, except they're actually seeing your brand name in person, right? And I don't know,
completely.
that was like a flip for me because I work with, direct consumer sales. I help businesses sell online. But it's like a really cool balance. It's really cool when you can balance that the retailer and the brand awareness in those boutique stores and really the bigger REIs and Costco's and just getting more eyeballs on your brand name. Like that's really what it's about. Whether you do it on a screen that's this big or you do it in a store, like you've got to get the brand out there somehow. Um,
You
but
nailed it. Yeah, we Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, like, you mentioned, like, working with smaller retail stores and stuff like that. Is Tell me about the 5-year plan. Like, what does success look like for retail in 5 years? Is it working with more of those retailers across the US, or is it, going to some bigger retailers potentially? Or what feels good to you? What's true to your roots inside of you?
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for putting it that way. We right now we're at about a 60-40 split, 60% D2C, 40% retail. We're in REI, we're in Evo, Christie Sports. We're in some great retailers who we have expanded into, and that feels great. Our first year with REI was this past fall. We're in the Denver flagship and online, and it sold great. And we partnered. We very much believe in the partnership business model where 1 + 1 is 3, and you know, we both we're not just going to send them stuff, get their check and move on. It's very much how can we show up and tell a bigger story and elevate both businesses. So we've been doing events with them with the Denver flagship, and that's been really neat. So just any way to find those deep partnerships goes a long way for us. With REI, transparently, when I approached the buyer, I said, can we just give this a try? Can we just try 1 to 5 stores in Colorado and see how this goes? Because the last thing I want is to ship 200 cartons to the New Jersey store and it fails and we all fail. And that's a bummer for everyone. So, and she said, that's what got me. Great. Yes, let's give this a try. And so we're very much in that test and learn, as again, Missy Park from Title IX says, we're hitting singles. And we love that because we're hitting a lot of singles. It's really great. And so yeah, I think our 5-year plan, let's stay at that 60-40 split. We've really got a nice affiliate business right now as well, which is just awesome and makes me feel so good because those are community and partnerships that I love. But certainly growing deeper into REI, telling our story a bit more. We'd like to bring on sales reps in the next couple of years, which would be great because I can't. There's only so far my little car will take me around the country and away from work. We'd love to get to the east. We've talked to some folks in Canada, so I think nothing is off the table from kind of where we go, but it's really that slow, methodical growth. We want to scale at a reasonable pace and not kind of get out over our skis, if you will. So yeah, it's been fun and stay at that 60-40 split feels really good to us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I feel your energy right now. I'm just like, you're unstoppable. Like, move over,
Oh,
world. Robin Hall's here. I love it.
you're so sweet. Thank you.
No,
Uh,
it's so true. I mean, I feel it, and I think anyone listening, feels that. And so, we talked about kind of the nuances, and you talked about it too. You're trying to get feedback from kids on what they like, but you're
yep.
selling to moms because kids are not the ones with the credit cards. Or if
Yep.
they are, then maybe they're a little bit older. I don't know. But
Right.
how do you balance that within your marketing plan? Is like making sure that it's what both kids and parents want, even though at the end of the day, it's really the parents who are buying.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We sell our sizing is ages 5 to 14. So we're really not um, getting on, kids with phones is kind of those upper ages. And honestly, at that point, have they moved on to kind of juniors and adult sizes? So we are, talking to them on social media. We ask a lot of those kids in those consumer insights, like, how do you look at social media? What brands do you follow? Why? Do you want aspirational, inspirational, those types of things? But yeah, how do we build a product that catches the kid's eye and they think is cool and interesting, all the while has all the it's like the cereal aisle, right? Like you're walking down the aisle and the kid's like, Lucky Charms, whoop. And then it says whole grains, no processed this, whatever it is. And so, how do we have the backbone and have the quality and have the product that holds up that the parent is going to grab onto and fall in love with and pay the money for? And then we've got to bounce ourselves up against the North Faces, the Picture Organics, those kind of folks that are selling kids gear. So it is a tough balance. When it comes to those events, it's stickers and high fives and falling in love with the kids. And that brings the parent over. And then the parent kind of looks and goes, well, this is interesting. Wow, we do need a new jacket. And these are really nice. That's usually how it goes. So it's tough. And to your point, from a digital perspective, that's where, as we start to get more deeply into digital marketing, we need to kind of navigate is, are we just talking to the parents? Are we also showing aspiration to the kids? Back to my comment earlier about the dialogue about, are we selling to like the pre-Olympians that are hucking backflips in the terrain park? Or are we selling to the kid in the streets of Chicago that's never been seen snow? And I think, Wild Ride does a really nice job balancing that, and kind of talking to everyone, all women who like to ride bikes, right? It's all kids like to go outside. So what are those commonalities? Um, is it for us? It's hot chocolate. Every kid loves hot chocolate. So how do we say, you just hucked a backflip in the park and here's how you can do it, and here's cool inspirational people that are doing it, but at the end of the day, you want some hot chocolate. And for that kid that has never been to the mountains, there's hot chocolate. Whatever it is, trying to really get kids to align on something that they get excited about is the goal. And then the parent hopefully comes along. And we're in their shopping cart when they're looking through brands on RAI, and they go, huh, here's a cool story. I like this brand. So the storytelling goes a long way for us as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's not it doesn't feel like a new challenge in outdoors, right? Because I think about the North
Yeah,
Face or somebody like that who's sponsoring Conrad Anchor and Anna Path, like amazing ice climbers and going all over the world to do the gnarliest, coolest stuff, right? Somebody who's more like me who follows those people is going to be influenced. But then, like in San Francisco, you walk around and the mid-layer puffy from the North Face or Patagonia is like literally the uniform, right? And on
that's
anything.
right.
So I'm sure it's like I do think it's like selling the aspiration and selling the lifestyle and then the trickle down from there and kind of staying true to your roots.
Mhm.
And that's kind of how I've always talked about it. I mean, what me and Wiley talked about on that last podcast too is like,
Mhm.
it's a blanket. It's for any use case kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I mean, my personal thoughts with marketing and the way that I see that is just like if you mean nothing to nobody, if you mean nothing to nobody, you're going to mean nothing to nobody. Like you have to mean you have to mean everything to someone, or else you're going to mean nothing
Hmm.
to no one. Is really what I want to say.
I
Um,
love that.
and so, yeah, I don't know. That would be kind of, the families and kids in New York and Chicago and the that need a nice warm winter jacket is like, they're not completely isolated from mountain sports culture and that
Totally.
stuff. So,
Totally.
yeah, that would be my approach. But
I
um,
love it.
all right. Well, I super appreciate you being on. This is the Operate Business Podcast. We do this on every episode. And we talk about like reflection moments and I think for you, like you're on this journey and like I feel the energy, like it's like I think anyone that's listening is just like watch out. Like I said, Robin Hall's here, like we're not slowing down anytime soon, but 5 years into this business and this year has been really hard and you're navigating a lot. And so, what's making it all worth it?
Mm, the community, the kids, the community. Just it may sound cheesy, but you really have no idea how special the people that are here. It's the helpers. It's Mr. Rogers. It's the helpers. It's everyone is here. We do this thing in Steamboat. There's 28 outdoor gear brands headquartered in Steamboat. Everyone from Big Agnes to Holla gearboards to Grass Sticks to, Eagle Creek. To little guys that are just starting, and we all get together once a month in this thing called Garage Beers, and we just sit down as founders and go, how's it going? How are you doing? Are you seen? Are you heard? How can we help? What are we doing? And it's literally, it's that is what keeps me going. And it's our kids saying, Mom, how's it going today? How's it? And so just being able to tell it like it is on a podcast like this, appreciate you and share the journey and inspire people on the business side of the house, but then also just go outside and play outside and love outside, kiddos, because it's nature is free to everyone, and it'll make you and the planet a lot more healthier. So yeah, I think that's what keeps me going is the people for sure.
And what are you most proud of?
Um, I think I'm most proud of what we've built in 5 years with the bootstrapping. It's like, wow, how do we do that? We're in REI. We've got an employee, a paid employee. We've got some really great press. We've won awards. We're recognized. People are wearing our jackets. I think to pinpoint it, when I'm on a chairlift in Steamboat with my son and we look down and I go, there's some town hall. Do you know that kid? And he goes, nope, I have no idea who that kid is. That's what makes me so happy. I love it. We're selling, we're seeing our stuff in the wild, we're seeing kids enjoy it, and that makes me so happy.
Love it. You're doing it. You're doing it.
We're doing it. I'm really doing it, Becca.
This is it. This is the journey. Well, this is amazing. I mean, I think I would love to have you on another time in like a year and just see where you go from here, right? You've done so much
Perfect.
in 5 years and it's incredible. And you've got the momentum, the drive and the vision. So, thanks so much for being on and everybody, yeah, go check out this brand.
Townhallco.com for sure.
Townhallco.com. Not only have kid stuff, I was looking at some of the women's stuff too, and it's truly amazing.
Thanks, Becca. Thanks for everything you do for the industry, for founders, to inspire. I mean, what I've learned from you and your guests is huge. So appreciate you so much. Keep it going.
Thank you. Thank you.